Life is a game to be played, not a puzzle to be solved. Bumper sticker. Do you ever give any conscious thought to the things that you have to do that you don't necessarily want to do? If so, you may have done a little simple mathematics and discovered that those things add up to a tremendous amount of time. Time that is used up and keeps you from doing things you do want to do. We're told we need an average 8 hours sleep at night. This is not meant as a health and well-being quarrel with that, but merely to note that if you live to be 90 years old, it means you will have slept for 30 of those years. We are a nation of list makers, it seems, and you've probably either made lists or noticed them. There have been several similar to what I noticed in an issue of Family Circle magazine. It pointed out that the average American spends 8 months of a lifetime doing nothing but opening junk mail. We spend 5 years taking in food and drink, and another 5 years waiting in lines of every description. 7 years go down the drain with bathroom basics, while we polish off another 4 years of doing housework. The average driver lets around 6 months get away just waiting for red lights to change. Let's face it, there is obligatory time as well as discretionary time, and the latter gets the short end of the stick more often than not. If it appears to you that practically everyone, including yourself, seems to be hurrying, then you noticed correctly. Research Alert stated that the average week had 26 hours of leisure in 1973, and by 1990, that had dropped to only 16 hours. A check would show even less now. Talk about harried. That's you. That's me they're talking about, and I don't like it one bit. How about you? Let's see if we can figure out what happened. The Bureau of Labor Statistics collects figures on an annual basis. They showed that there was an increase in the average work week in 1965 as compared to 10 to 20 years before that. As you well know, it hasn't gotten much better, if any, in the intervening period, in spite of the stereotypical thought that there is an ever-shortening work week in our midst. Maybe you were one of those who went on a 4-day work week. Did those other 3 days increase your discretionary time? Probably not. You did a little moonlighting, didn't you? Oops, there goes some of that personal quality time. Or maybe you're self-employed. Surveys have disclosed that self-employed workers report about 10 added hours of work per week more than other employed people. Got to keep body and soul together, huh? I don't mean to put the onus on the workplace for chewing up so much of those 168 hours that are all you have available each week, but reality is reality. By the time you add in a main job, perhaps a second job, home chores like laundry, marketing, that awful rush hour commuting, and that mentioned sleeping time, those 168 hours have dwindled down to less than a precious few. Come on now, level with me. How much time do you really have left over for leisure travel, religious activities, reading, non-work conversation, even radio and television? That commuting part alone ate up 5 hours a week for the average employed man and around 3.5 hours for the average employed woman. If you're optimistic in your figuring, you might have come up with about 20% free time after you take all the obligatory stuff into account. But that's probably stretching it. Sometime back in a quality of life survey, respondents who felt rushed as a general rule did indicate less of that free time than those who felt that they had some time on their hands. However, the strange part was that the latter group reported less life satisfaction. Why, I wonder? Maybe it was the kind of pleasurable free time activity. Maybe it was because money constraints kept them from doing what they really wanted to do. Of course, the answer to that for many was work more, work harder, so they could do what they wanted. Naturally, that cut into the free part some more, enough so that for a lot of folks, it became impossible to do some of the desirable things even though there might now be enough cash to take care of it.